XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
This is Helmets and Heels
on 1010XL.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
Happy St. Patrick's Day out there to everybody, including, of course, Rory McIlroy, who for the third time in his career, second time in Players' Championship history, wins on St. Patrick's Day. That's the luck of the Northern Irish, I suppose. Players' Championship, start to finish, gorgeous weather until yesterday, which we knew that was coming. They were smart to get everybody started early and to play in groupings versus pairings yesterday morning. But you knew it was coming around 1 o'clock, and of course, then play was suspended for about 4 hours. And then you had Rory McIlroy and JJ Spaun down the stretch. If JJ makes that putt on 18, we have a different Players' Champion, and his life trajectory, career trajectory, totally different. But instead, you went to the playoff today. Did you have any thought that Rory wouldn't win today?
No. I tweeted it out.
Yeah.
I tweeted it out last night. I said, I'm kind of surprised. I hadn't seen it on X. I hadn't seen it on Instagram, so I tweeted it out at 9:45 last night. Rory McIlroy won the 2019 Players' Championship on St. Patrick's Day, and today, thanks to a aggregate playoff, he wins the 2025 Players' Championship on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. You didn't think it was over after 16. That was the first playoff hole, but definitely after 17.
Jeff Prosser did. I was going to say.
Literally, tee shot. He goes, Rory's winning this.
I mean, that's how I felt even going into it. And so, yes, as soon as he hit a little bit off the fairway, it was like, oh, you're going to have to play better than that to keep up with Rory McIlroy, one of the best in the world. But obviously, JJ Spaun's first ball all week in the water at 17 comes in the playoff.
Yeah.
It was not a great, obviously, experience today for JJ Spaun. That wind was howling. We leave our window open when it's nice out all night long to sleep with fresh air.
Yeah.
All night long, I could hear that wind, and I was just thinking, good luck, guys.
Well, more so, I'm realizing, Taylor Dahl, I never took a victory lap in the multimedia department group chat or in our meeting this morning because did I not text one young Jacob Simons, Yoda, for those of you who listen to the drill, the good Yoda, as we pointed out last week, did I not say to him when he was live at TPC yesterday and goes, oh my God, it looks like the end of the world. I don't think they're ever going to get back on the course. And I said, there's a window around 5 o'clock. Don't worry. And they made such great time, Lauren.
I was about to say, go figure when the golfers are like, hey, you have to try and fit this in because weather's coming. They know how to speed things up a little bit.
I do think if the playoff hole had been sudden death, like if the playoff format, I should say, had been sudden death, then they probably could have fit in the playoff last night. There was just enough light, I felt like. But because they knew they were playing all three holes and it was the aggregate, it was much smarter, in my opinion, to then just wait for today. And shout out to all the fans who were able to get out there today. It was a nice sunny day, just super breezy. And so they made a comment on the broadcast of like, I don't think these guys packed enough clothes, like enough warm clothes. Rory McIlroy was asked if he had, was planning to wear green today. And on St. Patrick's Day, he's like, yeah, but I didn't bring any.
Yeah.
Like you don't think about that extra day and how that certainly changes what they were planning on.
Well, especially when JJ Spaun's wife keeps asking him, according to the broadcast, when are you going to be home? Like what are we doing with this Florida swing? Like the kids are ready for you to be home, and nope, got to stay one more day. And look, Taylor and I have been debriefing this all morning, and we discussed it with Jeff Prosser because I know Jeff's not alone in taking a couple shots at Rory McIlroy, who, as he noted to us off the air, folks, look, he is a top 5 golfer over the last 25 years. I don't think there is an argument that can be made against that. But certainly, knowing his involvement in some of the political conversations, we'll call it, surrounding the PGA Tour, and certainly after Tuesday's practice round in which he snatched a phone from a young college golfer to prove a point, which I'm okay with because not enough young people are, having to withstand repercussions for their actions, I feel like, in 2025. But the comp that I have, Lauren, in terms of Rory McIlroy in popular culture, he's the Coach K. He is the Coach K. That's not to say he's the greatest coach in golf history, but it is to say that as someone who, of course, listens to a lot of basketball podcasts as an AP Top 25 voter, what I can tell you is that, and those of you who are in the weeds in college basketball agree, you either love Duke or you hate him, yes, But at the same time, there is also this idea of Coach K can be one of the greatest collegiate coaches of all time. But when he starts lecturing student reporters, when he starts saying, you guys counted this out, and then the imitations of him that have come up on all of these various basketball podcasts that I listen to, you respect him. You respect the game, but you also have a good chuckle at their expense from time to time for being this agent of integrity, which I'm okay with.
Isn't
you
it kind
upholding
of like Dabo-ish too?
Yes, Dabo would be another comp. Dabo would be another. Like we
Just
love
because
good
he's
people.
a good guy and everybody loves his personality and stuff like that, but we've
Right.
mocked the side of trying to do things so right and not wanting to be the one to overpay and do all of that that type of stuff. But he still has had winning seasons and still is able to find good product and stuff like that. Because I was trying to think of a relation. I was trying to think of somebody that like you truly think is a really good person, but doesn't always get all of the credit maybe they deserve when it comes to what they're actually doing.
Do people hate Rory? Like,
Yes,
No,
apparently.
there's
I think
people who
people
do.
do.
Because
People
people
hate
hate
Rory
greatness.
McIlroy?
I
Yes.
was shocked too. Like my Twitter, people were like, "No, I don't want Rory," and like even Jeff this morning was kind of going on that
Making
rant.
digs.
And that's why I asked him. I was like, "What is it with Rory that people don't like?" Because to me, he's such a likable person. Like there wasn't any moment when I saw Rory start to climb up the leaderboard. I was like, "Heck yes!" Like I would take a Rory win at the Players any year.
I mean, I've never delved into the hatred for Rory McIlroy. I can understand people cheering for JJ Spawn because this is an underdog story, and it's
Right.
certainly David versus Goliath in the world of golf. And he's a guy who's pretty much come out of nowhere, but has had a really good season so far. Spawn has, but to me, there are some other storylines in the Players Championship too. Danny Walker literally lives in Jacksonville at 7 a.m. on Thursday morning. He was not in this golf tournament.
Yeah.
But because he lives close by, Jason Day had to withdraw. He gets the phone call, and he's able to just drive over and tee off a little after 8 a.m.
And now changes his entire life, let alone this
Absolutely.
season, by qualifying for how many events now because he finished top 10?
Yeah, and we saw him on Saturday morning, and he's just a really calm guy, like fun to watch on the golf course. And
Taking
then, of
in a
course,
little less than $1 million, and you just got the call on
right, and he played so well too down the stretch. And then Bud Colley, another fantastic story, another guy with local ties, and he was in a really bad car accident in 2018. And was able somehow, some way to fight back and be able to get back into the world of golf. And it was Danny Walker, by the way. I think I saw that at one point had taken a job with Bahama Breeze at the town center because he thought his golf career was pretty much dwindling.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
able to come back and then do really well in the Players. And then, but Cully, like I said, the fight back from the injury and that awful car accident, and then to play as well as he did. Both guys were in contention yesterday.
Okay, now it's really time to boil Lauren's blood. RJ, do you have the sound from the on-course interview from another golfer at the Players Championship who did, make the cut and certainly was in contention on Saturday, if nothing else. And he had some very, very specific words for the Golf Channel broadcast crew.
I have no God-honest control of my golf swing and I don't know where the golf ball is going right now, so I'm trying to get into the house as fast as I can.
Billy Horschel saying what we are all thinking when we are golfing, but at the same time, yes, he is a Gator great. Yes, he lives in Ponte Vedra Beach. Yes, we enjoy Billy Horschel, certainly. But there are people, Lauren, in the golf community that call Billy the town crier for a reason because he's always got something to say. And so I think
Is that why it's going to boil my blood?
because he's a Gator and I'm bashing a Gator. So here's the thing. I can like Billy Horschel, but I can also be like, God, just shut up. We know you're frustrated, but pull it together, guy. My guy, pull it together.
I mean, I don't think he was complaining as much as he was being hilariously candid about the conditions because that wind on Saturday afternoon, and then obviously this morning as well,
yeah.
but that audio was from Saturday. It was howling.
Right.
And this golf course is difficult to begin with. So I didn't think he was being a whiny baby. I thought it was one of the most honest you'll ever hear a golfer be like,
but
I don't know
not the
what I'm
first
doing.
time. It's not the first time that Billy has had some pointed words.
And it's so funny because I just felt like we kind of all knew that this wind was going to play a factor, especially all of the golf that we had watched the week before when it came to the Haight tournament, when it came to the UNF women's golf tournament we went to. It was so windy both of those days, and all of those golfers were making the comments of like, it's hard to play in these conditions, obviously. And so you saw that even get to the best of them and that's when you know. But I thought it was more so funny in that, like, I wasn't looking at this like, oh, he's complaining and he's being a hater, but I also maybe don't follow, if you don't like him as a golfer, maybe there was other things that irked you, that would bother you. To me, the amount of people reposting that, being like, me 12 beers deep on the golf course on Saturday.
Yeah, after a bunch of Mick Ultras and then fireball shots, this is what I sound like. Yeah, I guess I must not be on social media to the point where I'm seeing the hatred for Rory or the hatred for Billy Ho. I guess
Rory was getting it big time after the phone thing. And then I think also going back, and I was talking to Jeff about this, when he became kind of like this, when it was the live split off and he was kind of like becoming like the ambassador for the tour. Yeah. Some people started to turn on him at that point, but the people who were not anti-live, like the ones that were like, who cares, like let them go make money and go get this, thought he was like trying to be like the higher, mightier, like I'm better than you and I'm going to be this, and that started separating people. But I was seeing a lot, like we shared our opinions on the phone thing, and we were more so like the kid's an idiot for having kind of causing that circumstance to even happen. But a lot of people would turn on Rory in that moment and was like, why are you like, you're not his dad, snatching his phone out of his hand like a parent. And so there were people that turned on him suddenly then.
Interesting. I guess at the end of the day, Rory gets to have the last laugh because he's victorious, not just with being the face of the PGA Tour, but also winning the Players' Championship in a playoff in a very stressful situation. He said today before 16, it was the most nervous he's been in the longest time.
Okay, so Heeligans, we of course are looking for you. Your thoughts, your feelings following Rory McIlroy's second Players' Championship victory earlier this morning. 904-641-1010 is the number to reach us at. Someone, one of our Heeligans, in the 850, Lauren,
Tallahassee,
has already texted in and said, I was cheering for Rory to lose over JJ Spawn to win. And I said, see, there we go. Please explain so we can read to Lauren as to why. Pretentious and smug who thinks he's responsible for telling everyone what is right or wrong in golf, and he hasn't won a major in 10 years and is always hyped to be the next best. Also, when Liv happened, personally going after players that made the move for providing for their families.
And I'm always going to say they were providing for their families, making millions of dollars before they went to Liv. No one watches them on Liv, and everyone still watches the PGA Tour, and the Players' Championship, in my mind, is close to a major, and Rory won the Players' Championship in 2019. So that's what I'll say. But again, that's probably somebody who, if they're in Tallahassee, or they're a Tallahassee person, they're probably more an FSU person. They probably hate me in general, and that's perfectly fine. But you know what? On the other
Just
side,
add to it.
On the other side, we have some wonderful clips to play from yesterday's SEC men's basketball championship. RJ put together a lovely montage. So all you Knowles, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the highlights.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Your afternoon Uber drivers.
Come on, let's take a ride.
The Franchi Show.
It's a big mobile.
Let us give you a lift.
0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds.
Afternoons 4 to 6 on 1010XL.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Need a new air conditioning system? Don't sign anything. Call Ideal Conditions Heating and Air Conditioning, your AC experts. Just ask your AC. Finance a brand new system for 60 months with 0% interest on approved credit for approved systems. Visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Pick it here for Bow 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
It's a Helmets and Heels Big Chief Tire Monday.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein and Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein and Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
When no names become household names. Listen for March moments all month long on 1010XL. Driven by Garber Auto Mall. We can wiggle it.
Hey, poker fans, the stakes are high this month as Best Bet dishes out over $550,000 between Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the St. Augustine poker rooms. Feeling lucky? How about $300 every 15 minutes at the table games, or cash in on the $20,000 race to a race, or every Friday, $1,000 every 30 minutes. And go for the green on St. Patrick's Day, where a Royal Flushing Clubs wins up to $5,000. See all the details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Real estate isn't just a job, it's a commitment. With Paige Covington, you get a dedicated partner who's available day or night, because buying or selling a home doesn't follow a schedule. Your needs come first. Whether it's finding the perfect home or selling for top dollar, Paige Covington goes the extra mile every time. Meet Paige Covington with England Volkers at String Sports Brewery on Pittman Road in Jacks Beach, Friday, March 21st from 4 to 6 for Madness with the Frangie Show. PaigeCovington.evrealestate.com.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You're going to want to beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Hey, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Don't forget about your air ducts. Your air ducts, sort of like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them Dan or 1010XL sent you. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
The time to buy an emergency generator is before you need it, not when you're sitting in the dark. Storms happen in a hurry in Florida, so be prepared. Protect your family and property with American Electrical Contracting. Call them today, 737-7770.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you back in the lovely studio for the first time in quite some time, because our show has been on the road, and we will be on the road this Thursday and Friday. We'll keep you posted throughout the week as far as those shows are concerned. But before we get any further, because we're about to get to Florida winning the SEC men's basketball tournament yesterday, before we do that, Chicken Salad Chick brought us so much delicious food. Thank you so much, Chicken Salad Chick.
They even brought us a wedding cake in honor of our buddy Graham Marsh getting married in about a month's time. And so, man, Talk about pulling out all the stops, folks.
They did. They brought broccoli salad, pasta salad, tons of chicken salad chicks, 3 different varieties of those on croissants as far as chicken salad's concerned. They also brought us each individually our meals. Amazing. I got a salad with chicken salad, and you also got mac and cheese?
No, I got it's like a BLT but with chicken salad, so like a chicken salad or chicken salad LT.
But you also got mac and cheese, but it didn't arrive.
Oh,
so
I didn't even know. I forgot I got mac and cheese.
Okay, there was mac and cheese in my bag, but I haven't touched it.
Did you eat my mac and cheese?
I did not because I was concerned that may have ended in the wrong bag.
I was wondering because I was like, I didn't get a side.
Covered. I have you covered. All right, so yeah, thank you to Chicken Salad Chick. Make sure that you go to them if you need catering, if you need lunch around town as well.
And even if you don't eat chicken salad like me, there's still tons of delicious options. I got the pimento cheese BLT. And then like Lauren said, you also have the broccoli salad. You have the pasta salad. So many great options.
Yes, indeed. All right, RJ, take it away.
What we do now? Bounce.
And his jump hook a little bit short. Handlocked in the rebound. Richard the fake and the 3. 7 assists on 8 made baskets for the Volunteers, but they are down 9 and now a turnover. Ziegler lost it. Martin lays it in. Elijah Martin and 4 players off the Florida bench in the game right now. One of them Aberdeen. There's Martin. Beautiful find, and how about that finish? Clayton gathers. Gets the shot off and hits. What a shot by Walter Clayton Jr. What a pass. Singular with the slam. Out open again. This time he'll take it and he'll hit it. The exclamation point on what is going to be a title for the Gators. They last won it in 2014. This is their 5th all-time SEC tournament championship. Congratulations to Todd Golden and the Florida Gators.
Well done, RJ. That's how it sounded yesterday in Nashville as Florida took down Tennessee 86-77. A couple key moments in this game for me. One, right before halftime, Tennessee made a run, and obviously there are more Tennessee fans in Nashville, Tennessee than Florida fans.
I know people tweeting that was kind of weird. Like,
yeah.
They're like, it's like a home game.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it is in the state of Tennessee, folks.
Right.
Unlike our conversation surrounding South Carolina, the women, and Texas, and the controversy about the 1 seed for a tournament that was going to take place in South Carolina. Like, it doesn't matter what seed you are. If the tournament is there, it's a home game.
So right before the half, Tennessee makes that run, and then Denzel Aberdeen hits a 3 to kind of silence the crowd. That was huge. And
fun fact from our friend Mark Long of the Associated Press: the Florida Gators are now 20-0.
I think it's 19-0.
It was 19-0, so that means Lauren now they're 20-0.
Okay. When Mark Long tweeted it, he said they were 18-0.
Nope, I read it as 19, so that's what it is.
Here we go.
So
let's make a bet.
19-0 when here it is. Yes, there you go. Here it was at 2:01 p.m. The Gators are 19-0 this season when Denzel Aberdeen hits behind the arc, which means 20-0, a nice even number when Aberdeen hits a 3.
So, yeah, Florida takes the lead at half, 39-30. And Denzel Aberdeen's a guy that didn't get a ton of playing time early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
But when you saw a couple of different injuries, whether it's to Walter Clayton Jr., when Elijah Martin went out, Denzel really got a lot more of the playing time for obvious reasons. And he really took advantage of it. And so he can be occasionally wild with the basketball, but I think he's done a terrific job this season in relief of those guys. And then, of course, he's gotten a ton more minutes as the season's progressed, because when you have guys in foul trouble, you've got to have that kind of depth. And Florida obviously has it at guard, but they have it with the bigs as well. And then another big moment, you heard it there in the highlights that RJ put together, Thomas Houck hits a 3 late in the second half with about 5 minutes remaining. And that was kind of the time where I felt like Florida could take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd Golden and his squad knew as long as they played smart basketball the rest of the way, they were going to hoist the trophy, and that they did.
Yeah, it's wild. And one of the stats that I read talking about Tennessee, it's the most points that has been scored on Tennessee all season, too. And they said that, I want to say there's only been a couple times the team's been able to top 80 on them in general. And that just kind of shows what we've been talking about, obviously, on this show for months, is that anybody can score, and you have your main guys when we're talking about a Walter Clayton and if we're talking about a Will Richard and stuff like that. But everybody on this Florida team can score, even a Thomas Houck, who a lot of times we've had the conversation of more being, especially coming back from injury, how big of a piece he'll be. But when he's even scoring double digits, and you start to see how many guys can any night score, and that's helping. That's going to be assisting Will Richard and Walter Clayton Jr., and you never know, and there's no way for any other team, I feel like, to be able to prepare for all the guys that can shoot the way they can in Florida.
Yeah, Houck is so versatile. Hanlogton being able to provide minutes and some fouls as well was huge, and it had to be a crazy moment for him and his family yesterday when a year ago, this is the game where he suffers the gruesome broken leg, and now a year later, he's crying on the sidelines with assistant coaches.
He played. I mean, that's what's most
Obviously
wild.
Got a few minutes there and some rebounds, and then the fact that he was able to cut the nets down. And by the way, on Saturday, if you weren't watching,
without a ladder.
Yeah, that was Olivier Roux.
What is it? Roux, yeah.
Olivier Roux, did not need the ladder. He's 7'9". He'll be fun to watch next year. But on Saturday, seeing one of the managers kind of get in, one of the walk-ons get in and be able to score a bucket as Florida beat Alabama, that was also incredible. And so this team, even if you're not a Gators fan, I feel like if you watch this team, you understand. And I tweeted this out, how athletic they are, how talented they are, but also how selfless they are. They don't care if they get the credit. They just want to be able to share the basketball, and they want to be able to set each other up for success.
That's why I already said I'm like so scared, because I've been on this belief and this bandwagon that Florida could be in the running when the calendar flipped to March since November, since I watched them in the opener against South Florida, that this team was different. But I'm not going to lie, Lauren, now is everybody nationally jumping on the bandwagon. I think it was 2 of the 4 on the CBS selection show broadcast last night who have Florida in their national championship game, let alone their Final Four, and certainly the first SEC tournament crown since 2014, the last time Florida went to the Final Four. I see the stars aligning, and I'm scared. I don't know. I know that so many of the Gator alums here at 1010XL have assured me that I ain't never scared. I ain't scared of Dan Hurley. I ain't scared of Derek Queen in Maryland. I ain't scared of Norfolk State. But I don't know, man. There's too many people on the bandwagon now. I'm a little nervous.
Do you agree with the seeding when it comes, because it was Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida? Yeah,
no, I don't feel bad saying it. My AP ballot will drop in about 34 minutes or so, and I have Florida as the only team they're behind is Duke, and that's solely just because Duke has less losses. Yeah. And Duke also won both their regular season and their conference tournament crown. But aside from that, I have Florida as the number 2 team in the country.
What do you think was the most controversial team?
Oh, it's West Virginia.
Okay.
It's the West Virginia situation.
Okay.
The West Virginia, and then I'm not even going to go on the diatribe about how that affects. Yes, folks, I'm going to reference it. I'm not going to go into said diatribe. How it affects the opening at Iowa for their head coaching vacancy, because Darren DeVries is from the state of Iowa. Mm-hmm. His son, the star player who transferred from Drake to West Virginia with him, has not played since the first week of December. He's taking a medical red shirt. And the first criteria that Bubba Cunningham and the selection committee have the audacity to bring up is, West Virginia is going to be playing without Tucker DeVries. Well, they haven't had him since December. They beat Kansas in Fog Allen for the first time in decades without him.
Yeah, to me, I mean, Florida not being the number 1 overall seed is ridiculous because they won the league, right? At least the tournament. They didn't win the regular season. Auburn did. But they were able to come out unscathed of the best conference. The SEC has more teams in the men's basketball tournament than anyone has ever put in before. Yeah. So you take the winner of that, who also has beaten recently Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, and you make them the number 1 overall seed. But I know a lot of people have the conspiracy theory that the committee has made their decisions on seeding long before these conference tournaments begin and end, and so that's why you don't see the shuffling.
So the conference tournaments don't weigh as much for them.
Yeah. And so to me, in the end, it doesn't matter. And I understand why people are on the bandwagon is because you do see Todd Golden able to just trot guy out after guy out after guy out, and they all play well, and they all play well together. And so do other teams have that kind of depth?
No.
And so that's why, people who haven't watched them closely all season are all of a sudden figuring out, Golden can have 3 guards, and he really could have 4 guards in the game. He doesn't need to. And they all can score. They can all play defense super well. Elijah Martin, Walter Clayton Jr., Will Richard can all steal the basketball. And then, of course, you've got the guys crashing the glass offensively and defensively. That's just hard to withstand.
I don't want to spoil the little video because we'll have a couple of various videos getting you ready, giving you some insight into how you should fill out your bracket this March. And certainly you should enter into the 1010XL Mr. Chubby's Bracket Challenge, which Taylor will tell us a little bit more about here in just a second. But there's only 2 other teams in the country that have the depth that Florida has. And it depends on the given night, because I've already seen plenty of folks who are saying that Alabama will be 1 and done or 2 and done, because we do not know if Grant Nelson, the Dakota Durant, will be eligible for Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide. I believe he will find a way to play, and even if he doesn't, I believe Alabama can get out of the first weekend in the same vein that Duke was able to. And I understand the ACC is a 4-bid league and really should be a 3-bid league. But the way that Duke was able to overcome losing not only Cooper Flagg, but Malik Brown throughout the ACC tournament, I'm going to say essentially for the entire ACC tournament, since both those players went down in the first half of that quarterfinal game. But both Alabama and Duke, I believe, can withstand losing 1 or 2 players and have now shown it because of the depth that they've been able to construct on their roster. And I think that, quite frankly, I think Alabama's front court, certainly Florida, put it to the test, and Florida might be the only team that can counter with how many punches Nate Oates' front court can throw at you in terms of rotational players that he can throw out there. And so that's why my question for you, Lauren, is I'm curious if Sam Alexis is going to even be available to play because of the injury. Todd Golden has continued to say he is. I've heard from some people here in the building that they feel like of any player who may not have that dog in them, he may be that player. And so you don't even need him. But I look at it and I say that's the biggest reason that I would bank on Florida to make a deep run in the tournament, is the idea of, even if you were to get into a physical contest where it's a free throw shooting contest because both teams are hacking at each other, trying to get to the line. That was
yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, so the last 6 minutes. First half was pretty aesthetically pleasing, but the last 6 minutes for certain.
I think the refs were terrible yesterday, but that's coming from watching a team that won the game, and I still thought the refs were terrible.
I thought they were fine in the first half, and they let them play, but then in the second half, yes, it became a whistle-blowing contest. And so that's where I think that, again, that's where Florida was always going to overcome Tennessee, because they have more bodies. So that's where I think if you add simply another body who can at the very least go out there and draw a couple fouls for you. That's where no other team in the country has that. Duke and Alabama, the only two that maybe have a prayer in that category.
Florida lost to Kentucky, the first loss of the season up there in Kentucky. And it was because Florida couldn't make its free throws. And I think that was a huge turning point. There have been other games where Florida struggled some, but for the most part down the stretch, especially the last month or so, Florida has made a point to take that deep breath, concentrate, and make the free throw, or at least come much closer. We've had other games where, especially like I said, that Kentucky game, where they were not even close. And it's like, what do you do? You're a college basketball player. I almost said professional, which is kind of professional. If you like March Madness as much as we do, we will be at Hurricane Grill and Wings in San Marco on Thursday, and then on Friday, Big Dog Sports Restaurant in Orange Park. So noon to 2 p.m. Obviously, both those days, come and hang out with us.
And I will explain too for our bracket challenge, our Mr. Chubby's bracket challenge, because there's a lot of moving parts to this. So there's 3 prizes, first, second, and third place for the normal bracket if you submit it through the website. But the first place prize is 2 tickets to Rockville for Saturday, which those are really nice tickets if you're into that, and you also get a Miller Lite prize pack with that. Second place is $100 Chubby's gift card, Mr. Chubby's gift card, and third place is a $50 Mr. Chubby's gift card. But the other part of this, if you go into Mr. Chubby's while these games are going on, Thursday through the weekend, and you print out your bracket and show it to them, for every game you get right, you can get a free beer.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of free beer, which certainly this time of year is helpful when you just spent maybe some money at the Players on some beverages. All right, we've got more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Honoring hard-working heroes.
Work all week long, punching that clock just to
Duval's Good Timin' Sports Talk Radio.
I need a good time.
This is 1010XL.
Yeah, I've been working all week and I'm tired. I don't want to sleep and I want to have fun.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is giving away free beer again this year for the Madness Tournament.
Do they really give you a free pint of Miller Lite for each game you pick right?
Yes, all you got to do is fill out your bracket now at 1010XL.com. The overall winner gets tickets to Welcome to Rockville on Saturday. But for free beer, just download your bracket, print it out, and bring it into any Mr. Chubby's Wings location during the games. Every game you pick right, you get a free beer.
Go to 1010XL.com now. It's the Free Beer Chubby Madness Bracket Challenge. See Mr. Chubby's Wings Facebook for full contest details.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. At Terminix, they know how to stop termites just like they did at our house. These destructive pests may have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so does Terminix, and their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem. I certainly didn't want to. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Here's Linda Beaver.
It's a new year with new goals, but let's face it, not all resolutions are easy to keep. Maybe you promised yourself you'd eat healthier, but pizza still seems like a better idea. Or you said you'd read more, but your favorite show just launched a new season. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, we can help you keep your New Year's resolution. We offer the biggest selection, best prices, and the easiest car buying experience. Let's make a resolution to visit Beaver Toyota or Beaver Chevrolet, where we'll wow you with a new ride for the new year. Helmets and heels.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
This is Hayes Carline for Physician-Guided Weight Loss. I'm down over 25 pounds already this year, and I feel great with no side effects, all thanks to their amazing technology, fast setup, friendly staff, and their proven results. Plus, a firm pricing structure means there are no rising costs as you go. If you're ready for a leaner body ahead of the warmer weather coming, call my friends at Physician-Guided Weight Loss at 257-4344. That's 257-4344, Physician-Guided Weight Loss.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window
World,
simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
It's March Madness, and your office needs a champion. Advanced Business Solutions teams up with Xerox to bring you copiers that never miss a shot. Fast, reliable, and ready to handle the pressure. Make the winning play for your business. Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions, where your business goes for the win. Locally and veteran-owned.
Print documents and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
Jacksonville's summer heat is coming in fast. Is your AC ready to handle it? Or will it quit on you on the hottest day of the year, leaving you sweating and stuck with a huge repair bill? Duck Air Conditioning is here to save the day with a free AC system inspection. Our expert techs will make recommendations to ensure your AC system is running in tip-top shape before the heat arrives. Call now, 904-862-6769. Duck Air Conditioning, duckac.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com. Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On March 17, 2019, at the Players' Championship, Rory McIlroy wins the championship, defeating Jim Furyk by 1 stroke, making 2 late birdies to close out with a 2-under-70.
Where is the deepest canyon in the United States?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The deepest canyon in the United States is Hell's Canyon along the Oregon and Idaho border, about 8,000 feet deep at some point.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me. If you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010X 10XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This upper left side is absolutely hammered.
Should cover everything and be right down the middle. What a great drive and a statement made by Rory right there.
Yes. It's going to be an advantage here for McIlroy, who gets to 1 under. And McIlroy's got another player's title. World number 2 with his second. And setting the table here for what could be a very special year for McIlroy.
Hi everyone, this is Rory McIlroy, your 2025 Players Champion. I've been asked to describe this week in one word, and I would say a battle. It was a battle most of the way. Conditions, even going into Monday with JJ, battling, the golf course, battling my emotions. This was a battle, but a battle I was thankful to come out on top of it.
Petition. More Smiley Kaufman. More Kevin Kisner.
I loved Kisner. On the
More
broadcast.
of the what they call the Friday part
Yeah,
of the broadcast.
during the play. He goes,
chilling
because
on
he's
17.
done. JJ's done. That's what he said. I was like, dang,
Yes.
no faith.
Kisner this morning was
I get it,
hilarious. but also I love
calling it like they see it.
I also love when they had Ricky Fowler on the Island Green with them on Friday, I believe it was. Like more of that, please. I think that's a great example for all of the discourse last week surrounding the Creator Classic, especially here on the Superstation. Do people like that? Do they not? Like, I feel like that was an amazing job by NBC, by the Golf Channel, of saying, hey, we're going to lean into this more, not Barstool in the sense of Barstool, but Barstool in the sense of you're sitting with your friends, shooting the ish, having fun, watching golf, as opposed to stuffy, we're suit and tie, this is very prim and proper, that historically speaking has been the connotation that a golf broadcast traditionally brings.
Well, I think, too, the youth movement in golf has been great to see. And so now you've got guys like a Ricky Fowler who's in the older crowd. And so now we have new young blood and guys that are in their early 20s that are making a splash on the PGA Tour. And that's exciting. But I think that also those guys didn't grow up with the stuffiness of golf. Like, golf is always going to have etiquette, for sure. But they didn't grow up with the same environment that guys like a Tiger maybe even did 20 years ago. And so, I think the broadcast was fantastic. I also think the Players' Championship overall, in every possible way, did a fantastic job with whether it's communicating about the weather delay yesterday, whether it's the parking situation, getting people to get their stuff in advance, their tickets well in advance because it's going to sell out. They tell you that. It's not like they're trying to hold back. Every single venue that I went to, every single person that I spoke with, whether it was volunteers, people who worked there, everyone had a plan, and it really was seamless. The only thing, we got into a little bit of traffic on Friday, and other than that, I thought the traffic flowed pretty well for the most part. And again, until obviously the weather yesterday would have changed things a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously when it's that many people and you know it's a 2-lane road for the most part that you're getting in and out of. So when you think about it in that light, they do as well a job as you can for the most part when it comes to that. I want to give a shout out for Justin Thomas not completely embarrassing me.
Dude, we go off the air and JT, and
this goes insane.
What's funny too is my dad and I saw him at 10 because up to that point, yes, it was bogey free on the front 9 for JT.
Yeah,
but he only had
he parred 4 or 5 after that.
Right, yeah, he only had 2 or 3 birds.
Yeah,
and so we see him at 10.
Birdied.
Right, he birdied like the next 5 holes.
Yeah,
and that was what was so wild. Was like we saw him and like I was like, I don't know how his day's going. He's like, oh no, he's got like 2 birdies. I'm like, he has a lot of ground to make up. He shot a 78 on Thursday, and then we like get home and I look and I'm like, what?
Yeah. I was, because I jokingly said on air, like, I need him to shoot 12 under today for me to even have a shot. And then at one point, I was like, Lauren, he's at 11.
Yeah, we were following along as we were sitting in some of that traffic, and Taylor kept giving us updates every minute on the minute about Justin Thomas. And I was like, hey, if I had picked him in Loser Monday back when I was on the Frangie show, he 100% would not have rallied back, and I would have been buying lunch today. In theory, you would have bought lunch if we were doing that, which we're not, because we had, of course, wonderful people from Chicken Salad Chick bring us food in. But Taylor would have, in theory, lost the bet with JT. But Sepp Straka, as well as he played the first 3 days, really fell apart. Well, late Saturday and then certainly Sunday as well. And
what
then,
did he finish four?
I want to say four or five under. Yeah. And then in theory, Mia's guy, Colin Morikawa, wins the bet. But again, when there's no stakes on it, it doesn't really matter. But Morikawa for a while, I thought, okay, he might win this golf tournament, and then didn't play as well to finish.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise for me because yes, the conditions were treacherous. And so independent of
not Thursday, Friday, they were gorgeous.
No, but over the weekend, the conditions were treacherous. It was surprising to me that no one really seized the tournament over the weekend. JT tried to on Friday and then ran out of steam. It didn't feel like there was a single golfer who truly took advantage of both Saturday and Sunday. It felt like Scottie Scheffler was stuck in neutral throughout the duration of the weekend, let alone on moving day and certainly yesterday. But the fact that Morikawa found himself plateauing and he was stuck at 7 under, the fact that Will Zalatoris had a brief moment on Saturday before he too faltered, and instead you had these young guys in Akshay Bhatia, Lucas Glover, Danny Walker, and Bud Cauley, who we've already paid homage to, the 2 Jacksonville Beach residents. Like, that for me was the most surprising because historically, over the last decade, or at the very least the last 5 tournaments, it has been those bigger names, whether it was Scottie the last 2 years, not in the final grouping, but holding up the trophy at the end of the weekend. Xander Schauffele, last year with Wyndham Clark's collapse, at the very least, he seized into control or appeared to be in control on Saturday. Massive names, previous major winners, and the fact that the biggest name we had was Rory. You could make the argument outside of Morikawa, yes, it's 7 under, but you'd be hard-pressed. Yes, Patrick Cantlay finishes T12, but first off, who wants to see Patrick Cantlay win? And second of all, he double bogeys, then bogeys on Sunday morning. It all felt like 3 different days yesterday in back-to-back holes. And so he faltered. He kind of worked his way back on the back 9. But that's what was most surprising for me, was that no one really seized it, and the guys who did weren't the names you're accustomed to seeing.
And I think a lot of people learned some golf names, honestly. Like Tom Hoagie, people might not have known about him. Certainly JJ Spahn, unless you watch golf week in and week out. And that's why in that wonderful highlight package that RJ put together, you heard Rory say it was a battle. Why was it a battle? Because he didn't even play that well to start the tournament. He was not hitting the fairways on Thursday. And then Friday, he struggled putting. And so you still had him win the golf tournament. If I'm one of those other guys, whether it's a Jordan Spieth or Ricky Fowler, who didn't end up finishing well at all, but you have to look back and be like, if only I had played better, especially those days when the weather was gorgeous.
Yeah, and then even day one, there was a lot. I feel like the first day, you always see, especially early in the day, there's a lot of names that you're not super familiar with if you're not a golf person. And that's usually how mine started. And so I would always be doing updates on Thursdays, and I'd be like, I don't even know who some of these guys are. It always ends up that way. This time I do feel like there were some pretty big, like obviously Spieth was playing pretty well to start. That kind of just went wild on round 4 on Sunday. But I do think that some of those we were talking about towards the top, and maybe not in the top 5, but still guys who were like in that top 12, because there was a huge group that were all like 5, 6, 7 under, a ton of guys in that range. And there were some bigger names in that. But to Mia's point, I felt like it never was that one moment where you're like, all right, this guy's just completely running away right now and he's on the day. It would be, they'd have like 4 or 5 of those holes and then they'd double bogey something. And that's how it felt kind of throughout the whole tournament, which is fun for us when you don't have like a person,
Yeah, like Ludwig Aubert, a lot of people picked him, including Dean Rappaport.
I think JJ did.
Last week, and he ended up 2 over.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other ones picked on as far as the Loser Monday for the Frangie show goes, but I'm sure we'll find out this afternoon at 4 o'clock. But yeah, a guy like Xander Schauffele, a lot of people love Schauffele. He finished 13 over.
Yeah.
Like, it was carnage, certainly yesterday, especially once people started to not play well, then it felt like they just kind of gave up and they were like, look, at this point in time, I just want to be done with this. That's why we heard Billy Horschel earlier be like, I don't know where my golf ball's going.
Here's a stat from Kyle Porter, now with Normal Sport, formerly of CBS. A lot of golf media guys switching hands here over the last few months. Kyle tweets, Rory's last 25 worldwide starts, 5 wins, a.k.a. he's won a 5th of the last 25 tournaments that he's entered, 3 runner-ups, 14 top 5s, 22 top 25s, 1 missed cut. It's been rightfully drowned out by what Scottie Scheffler has done, but Rory's last 12 months have actually been pretty insane.
Yeah, I will say, too, obviously we had last week Daniel Rappaport on, and he said it'd be around 14, 15 under, and so he wasn't far off.
He also said don't pick Rory, as did I. And look who was holding the trophy on Monday.
One part right, one part wrong. But
I just will say, if people listening have never been to the Players' Championship, I can't recommend going, more. Like it is gorgeous. If you want to get out early, like we did Saturday, got out there for a few hours, made it home easily. No traffic on the way there, no traffic on the way home, because we obviously went opposite when the big, names were teeing off. But just whether it's trucks on 10, tacos on 12, the wine and dine on 9, the Mayomi Chalet, like every single spot is just, they pour so much into it, and every spot is so fantastic. I got to walk some of the golf course with Taylor's grandfather and uncle, and we took them to a spot they'd never been there on 14, overlooking the hotel, like that 12, 13, 14 area. And like, that's one of my favorite things, is walking that golf course and getting to see maybe some of the areas that you haven't paid attention to. The tree on 6, spend some time there.
Everybody wanted to go to the freaking tree.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think the tree ended up messing that many people up, but certainly it was a huge talking point, because they did move it to right near that tee box at 6. And so it's just, to me, I've always said this, it's one of my favorite weeks of the year. It has been for the longest time. And everyone involved does such a good job with making sure they make the experience the best it can possibly be. And so next year when we have this conversation, I'm going to be saying the same things. Like it's just unbelievable how much work they put into it and how it comes to fruition.
And I will say, too, if you are not a golf fan, because I know a lot of people out there would just more casually go out to hang out, you can people watch for hours and hours. There was some of the time where Brian and I were just like, oh, look at that outfit. Look at that outfit.
And I sent you a picture of one of the outfits on Saturday morning. A guy was out there. He was by himself, and he was in this onesie that had like a Jaguar print, but it wasn't the Jaguars. It was just this very colorful outfit. And it looked like he had lost some sort of a bet, but he didn't have friends
Maybe
around.
it was a fantasy football thing.
I saw the whole,
think the friends would be around to point
Mario and Luigi were
Yes,
all
I did see that. We saw the Scheffler hats, which is like chef hats, which Lauren I was like, why are they wearing chef hats? And she's like, maybe it's for Scheffler. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty clever.
And shout out to the Swedes. We found the Swedes.
Oh, yeah.
And
the Vikings.
And the Sweden.
They were schooling.
Yes, the Vikings. They were from Sweden. All 4 of them originally. 2 of them flew 10 hours to be at the Players' Championship for the first time. All those videos available on our 1010XL social channels.
Also, I saw that Rory said yesterday when they were all hanging out in the clubhouse waiting for the weather delay to end, that a lot of the players shared the same sentiment. The Players' Championship treats the players better than any other tournament that they play all year long. So again, shout out to everybody there. All right, we will continue to talk players on the other side with Gary Smits. You are listening to Helmets and Heels. It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. Make sure you visit them online at wekeepjacksrollin.com, and you'll see why they have over 7,600 5-star reviews. Big Chief Tire will treat you just like family. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Big moment. Play-by-play is full of plot twists.
Did that just happen?
And high-octane drama.
And this game is tied.
Experience the most play-by-play sports on 1010XL.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they're proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of both new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional, non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at hodgesmazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
To the T here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch? From lunch to late night, only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Stick around after the sunset, and Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Come on, somebody.
Joe C. for Florida Home AC, and now's the time to tune up that heating and AC unit. Take advantage of their $69 seasonal tune-up special.
Keep warm in the winter and cool in the summer with Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
This free agency profile is brought to you by Universal Roof and Contracting. Experience the universal difference.
Former Vikings tight end Johnny Munt is headed to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Although his receiving numbers as a tight end don't jump off the screen, it's what he does as a blocker that makes him such a key contributor on rosters. When it comes to getting the Jaguars offense back on track, the running game is going to play a key role. And rest assured, they'll look to Munt's elite blocking ability to help the Teal and Black in their run attack.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
You are in for a treat on Saturday, March 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. at Tobacco Cove, where the smoke is rich and the deals are hotter than a lit cigar. It's time for the La Aroma de Cuba cigar event. With great cigars, mouth-watering food, and awesome prizes. What more could you want? Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road. More than a cigar store, it's an experience.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You're going to want to beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Hey, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Don't forget about your air ducts. Your air ducts sort of like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them Dan or 1010XL sent you. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Loan Pronto. After securing his second Players' Championship title by clinching the win with a one-over performance in this morning's playoff round, Rory McIlroy spoke proudly afterwards on his win and the matchup against JJ Spawn.
Yeah, wind coming out of a completely different direction. Yeah, I'm just glad we didn't have to play 18 and that 3 was enough. But yeah, I feel bad for JJ. He hit a really good shot on 17 and it just went straight through the wind. I was lucky to do enough to get it done. But unbelievably proud and happy to win my second Players' Championship. And I think this is the third time I've won on St. Patrick's Day, so it's been a good luck charm for me.
This win marks McIlroy's 28th PGA Tour victory and first time he's won twice since before the Masters, positioning him as a favorite heading into the upcoming majors. It's 63 degrees at 12:59. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
We're here on a Monday playoff, and we had a lot of fans out there. Can you touch on the atmosphere for a Monday morning at the Players' Championship?
Yeah, it was incredible. I was walking up 16 fairway, and I turned to my caddy, Harry, and I was like, I can't believe how many people are here. Obviously, no one works in Jacksonville.
This next guy works. He was out there working.
That's right. Gary Smith of the Florida Times-Union joins us now, fresh off of the golf course and the 2025 Players Championship. Rory McIlroy, you just heard, saying how many people are there. And Gary, he said nobody works in Jacksonville. Maybe someone should tell Rory that it is spring break for Duval County and St. Johns County Public Schools.
Yes, it could be. It could be. But you know what? Maybe people thought it was worth getting off work to come out there and watch that. Historic moment. The ninth Monday finish, but the first time that there was a playoff on a Monday, which was interesting there. And I was just I was just informed a few minutes ago by PGA Tour official that they scanned more than 6,000 tickets.
Wow!
People that returned from Sunday. I can tell you, I've been here for quite a few Monday finishes. There were Monday finishes where we had almost a whole round of golf to play, or maybe 7 or 8 holes. And I remember the crowd around 16, 17 being that big. Now, it was only 3 holes they were going to play, so everybody kind of congregated there. Obviously, you didn't. There was no need to go to them. But I thought it was a very big crowd, and trust me, the players were very impressed by that. So they were, and even though Rory was joking, he didn't mean Jacksonville's lazy, folks. We know that. It's a working class town. It was just his way of saying how impressed he was.
This is the same Rory McIlroy that when he won the Players' Championship in 2019, folks, was quick to reflect upon the fact that a decade earlier he had made his first start at TPC Sawgrass, didn't make the cut, and then got thrown out of Jack's Beach Bars for being underage. So, hey, listen, Rory is a friend of Jacksonville, although we began the show, Gary, by kind of talking about the perception of McIlroy. I think for the casual fan, he is largely viewed in a positive light. Certainly, I think for many who are entrenched in the game of golf, he is as well, for all he's done both on and off the course. But your perception of what Rory McIlroy means to the game of golf. We made the comp earlier. I feel like he's kind of a Coach K in that you respect his greatness, but people do love to poke some holes in him. Taylor made the great comp of a Dabo Sweeney, where he's a winner, but there's sometimes some commentary that gets picked up and it gets made fun of on social media. What is your perception of Rory McIlroy, now one of 4 golfers to ever win multiple majors and multiple Players' Championships?
Well, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and that's going to be an easy choice when he gets the minimum age of 50. The main criticism has always been leveled at Rory is that he won those 4 majors between 2011 and 2014 when he's still pretty in his 20s, and everybody thought, okay, this is headed towards Tiger's territory, and you hope the same pressure isn't put on Scottie Scheffler. And then and among those victories is Rory has a career. As a career Grand Slam, so the Masters is the one he's missing, and that's where the pressure is really going to, every year it is. It's the same thing at Augusta, so it's going to be even more heightened on Rory this year now that he's got this tournament in the bag. But for right now, he's enjoying it. For right now, I think we can appreciate the legacy of I would say this young man. Everybody's young to me, but he is 35 years old. He's won this tournament twice. That takes some doing. Everybody who has won this tournament twice is in the Hall of Fame except for Hal Sutton and Steve Elkington, and I think you can make a case for both of those guys. He's got all the shots, as you need to have out here. And you know what? And the thing that Rory has always had a little bit of Tiger in him, in the sense that he doesn't mind little ways of intimidating people. And he mentioned this in a press conference. Everybody was out there, saw the drive he hit on 16, right down the middle, 336 yards. It was downwind. He said the wind was about the same on the range, so he had a few more extra drivers. He knew he was going to hit first because he finished first yesterday, and if you're in a playoff, that means you get to play first. And he said right out, he said, I knew if I could put that one in the fairway, I'd put more pressure on JJ. So that kind of set a tone that delivered a message, and JJ Spawn immediately drives it in the right rough and never really recovered after that. And he, and they just shot on 17. You know what? I hated to see it come to that. I wanted to see somebody win where both guys played pretty good. And the same way that they played pretty good to get to the playoff. It's the best field in golf, and those two were the last two standing, and you really wanted to see that. And I hated it for J.J. Spawn. We've seen it a little bit too many times, but, man, he just – if he had hit 9-iron instead of 8-iron, just went a little bit better, that ball would have landed about 10 feet from the hole.
Gary, there's a lot of reasons why I am not a professional golfer, but one of them is thinking about having a rain delay and having to sit there and wait to get back on the course, and then that also go to a playoff on Monday sounds honestly terrible to me. But Lauren was sharing some of the cool storylines coming out of this year when it comes to a Bud Colley or a Danny Walker. The Rory story obviously is a big one, but what's some of your storylines that you were going to remember from this championship?
Well, I'm going to remember J.J. Spawn is an absolute bulldog out there who was at a share of the lead on the first day, and he didn't disappear. I mean, and 36 holes and 54 holes. And he had some struggles yesterday and everything, but, this tournament was filled with guys who were the 36-hole leaders, disappeared, and you never heard from them again. And ever since mid-season last year when he thought he was going to lose his card, he's made, like 88% of his cuts. He's got 7 top 10s. He's got one victory. He hasn't kicked that one in yet, but I just admired what he did out there under those circumstances. Obviously, Bud Colley's a good story. Danny Walker, great story when you can be the first ultimate and get in and play your first players and contend to the end. I think we saw, and then a guy like Tom Hoge just showed how democratic that this tournament to get.
Did we lose Smitter? Oh, the media center. We were giving you so many compliments, TPC Sawgrass. That's all right. We'll get Smitter back on the line. Again, appreciate Gary, who is live at TPC Sawgrass, or at least that's my understanding. Live after that 3-hole aggregate playoff, reporting for us live from TPC Sawgrass with everything he saw over the course of not 4 but 5 days of competitive golf.
Yeah, he was just saying how democratic the course is, that Tom Hoge could come in and shoot a 66. And look, I think they talked about it too on the broadcast with Lucas Glover. They were saying, like, before the final round on Sunday, like, I'm nervous about a 45-year-old's nerves. And I'm like, what exactly does that mean? I feel like at 45, that means he's more seasoned. He's seen a lot of golf, so he shouldn't be as nervous. But I do understand that if you've played this course a lot, and certainly a lot of the guys we just referenced have played this course a lot because they're either from around here or they've moved here. If you know about the wind in advance, and of course all these guys did when they went out to the driving range, that gets in your head. And I have a feeling that that's kind of what happened with J.J. Spawn today as well. All right, Smitter, you're back, and you were just talking about Tom Hoge.
Yeah, sorry, but a guy like Tom Hoge doesn't do anything exceptionally well. But he does all the things well out here, like hit iron shots, and his game fits the course, and he's got the consecutive cut streak record out here. So the fact that you can have a tournament where you can have a guy who's a dead solid lock Hall of Famer go into a playoff with a guy like J.J. Spawn, who's a solid player, 34 years old, I think speaks to more than what's good about this tournament and the course than anything else. And Rory McIlroy right now is the biggest Players Championship fan ever. I know maybe it's because he's won it twice, but Rory, said it's an acquired taste. He said, I did not fall in love with this course when I first saw it. He missed his first 3 cuts, but he's got 5 top 10s and 2 victories now. And he said during the rain delay, he was in the locker room with a bunch of the other players, and they were just talking about the amenities for them, the food, the locker room, the magnetic chairs, that kind of stuff. But they also talking about, they notice, and they hear this from their families and friends, they notice the amenities for the fans and how well the fans are treated. And he said that the guys are all in agreement. He said he didn't want to put a label on this tournament, just the fact that it's one of the best championships in the world.
Gary Smits of the Florida Times Union, kind enough to carve out a couple minutes for us following the completion of the 2025 Players Championship. You can find Gary's stuff at jacksonville.com. And, of course, you can find him on X at @GSmitter. Speaking of things
Maybe Terry.
Maybe Terry, maybe Larry. Yeah, exactly. Gary, for the sake of not risking Lauren Brooks throwing me into the water on 17, I will not ask about the fact that Poppy and Rory's wife were on 18 green and stir up more drama surrounding Rory. Because, look, again, I root for Rory. I just find the perception of him internationally fascinating, but that's a story for another time, and our time with you is short. So let's pivot to Scottie. Let's pivot to Scottie Scheffler, a name that certainly for the better part of the last 18 months has been at the front of the minds of so many golf fans, but also casual golf fans as well. I said that I felt like Scottie was a neutral throughout the weekend and just never found a way to put it into gear. What say you?
That's a heck of a perception. Yes, you're exactly right. He played solid all week. Some years were maybe single digits under par. If the weather was worse the first 3 days, he would have been right there. But there was he didn't have that one or two holes or that one or two great shots that really kickstart the day for him. It's almost like he was waiting for something to happen. I wonder if the right hand that he severely cut in a Christmas Day accident, while trying to make homemade pasta by rolling it out with a wine glass, and only after the fact that it severed a nerve, and only after the fact that he said, I went online and I saw about all these accidents with wine glasses. Yeah, Scotty, where they're used other than the intended purpose, and that's to drink wine. But he had some surgery on that, and you just wonder if everything is he said he's fine. Every time he's asked about it, he said he's fine. But you just wonder now. He's had some solid finishes, but he hasn't had a Scottie Scheffler season. Maybe Augusta kind of breathed some new life into him. He's going to play in the Houston Open in a couple of weeks, and maybe being back home, getting the home game for him, essentially the University of Texas guy, that'll help. But you're right. It was just kind of meh about Scottie all week. Nothing really terrible, but nothing. Like last year in the final round, he made that 2 on number 4. Okay, and some of the shots he hit on Friday when his neck was really killing him. It has never happened for him. But shoot, the guy won 2 in a row, and he made the cut and was in the same position after every round, more or less, than he was after every round last year. So, however, yesterday was not a day for 64. I mean, Tom Hoagie shot a 66, and that was pretty exceptional. And I'm just not sure anybody could have made up that much ground yesterday.
I'm not sure either, but Gary, I do feel like it worked out perfectly for the Players' Championship. And as far as they got the repeat champion, that's probably one of the most famous golfers in the world to win in Rory McIlroy. And certainly now when it comes to focusing on next year, you have so many other storylines too. Can Scottie win a third time? Can Rory win a third time at this point in time? But as far as the names that we've discussed that are not the most popular household names, like a Spahn, like a Hoagie, like a Batia, like a Lucas Glover, Danny Walker, Corey Connors, all these guys that we've discussed that were near the top of the leaderboard, which one of those guys do you think has the best season?
Corey Connors. I've really liked Corey Connors since he won in San Antonio a couple of times, and he won the first time he won that tournament. He had to win it to get into the Masters the next week. He was the last guy in, and played well. And Corey's one of these guys that is got every shot. He's never going to wow you with any one thing that he does, but he's going to be. I think he's going to be an annual contender in this tournament. I think he's got a U.S. Open in him. I think Corey Connors is the kind of guy that has the game for a U.S. Open. Perhaps the PGA. He may not be long enough on a consistent basis to win the Masters, but a couple of short hitters have won that tournament in the past. But the way they got that set up, you got to have some off the tee in there. But I really always kind of liked Corey. And then Bud Cauley was a great story, but I think now he's set up for continued success from here on out. He's completely healthy. everything's happy at home and everything. So I really like him. And then I think if I had to pinpoint another guy that I think will use this to kickstart the season, it's going to be and I had him on my tongue. Well, Taylor Pendrith, another Canadian, did okay. But Harris English is another guy who was right there at the beginning. And I think Harris English has a game to win a U.S. Open. He had a couple of good days out here. By the way, as we found out, Harris English pretty good friends with Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen's agent went to high school with Harris English in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So they connected through that. And as soon as the draft is over and as soon as OTAs and things like that, Harris said he plans on having Coach Cohen up to Sea Island to play a couple of rounds at his course.
Yes, can verify that. And what a fun fact that was to see Liam Cohen strut up to 1. Gary, I didn't even get a chance to tell you this because I didn't see you on the ground Saturday. My dad and I happened to be sitting with Kevin on the tee box at 1 when Liam and his wife strutted up. And we looked at each other and said, I think we may be the only 3 people here assembled at the tee box that recognize who this is. And there were plenty of fans yelling, "Go Dolphins" and "Go Bucks." The Bucks connection obviously makes sense. The Dolphins one, not so much. So that was rather fascinating to see. Certainly, I think if Trevor Lawrence had strutted up, maybe a different reaction. But yes, a very fun fact there as well. Also, I don't think anyone has ever seen Shane Beamer and Corey Connors in the same room. If you don't know what I mean, Google it. I was watching the final round yesterday trying to put a finger on who Corey Connors reminded me of, but very nice pick of the 2 Canadians to maybe make some noise here, especially with, people forget, Gary, Augusta, 3 weeks away, and you will be boots on the ground up there in northern Georgia.
I hope so. It may not, but if not, we'll still be doing so. Yeah, travel budgets kind of changed and priorities changed within our chain, and that might not happen.
Well, the Heeligans maybe can do a GoFundMe for Gary to get up to Augusta. We'll lean on our Heeligans. Gary, thank you so much. We know you worked so hard, and Alessandra Briand did a great job pretty much with your journey through covering this tournament for so many years.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on and talking a little bit about that the other day and today, and it's been fun, and I think I got a few more left in me. Hey, I can still get out there and walk the course. I maybe walking a little slower, but golf is slow. All I got to do is walk as fast as the players do.
Absolutely. Well, Gary, we appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
There he goes. Make sure you read his coverage at the Florida Times-Union. Gary does a fantastic job when it comes to documenting not just the players, but golf in general. And we have loved having him as our analyst last week and this week as well. We've got our pest of the day on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire. Find them online at WeKeepJacksRollin.com. Remember, you get peace of mind when you get your tires from Big Chief Tire as they repair road hazard damage on eligible tires for free. It's 10 to Next on 92.5 FM.
The radio station with special skills.
These powers I could be.
Jaguars, Gators, sports talk for Jacksonville.
A superhero!
1010 XL, Jacksonville Sports Superstation.
At Duck Duck Air Conditioning, we've got a crazy offer just for you. We're giving away free AC inspection to our wonderful customers who call and schedule now. No strings attached, 0 cost for you. One of our expert techs will come look at your AC unit and make recommendations to ensure it's running at peak performance. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769. Or visit them online at duckduckac.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
Divorce, menonly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to divorcemenonly.com. divorcemenonly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company is Fleming Island's first and only craft brewery, founded by the co-founder and brewmaster of Wicked Barley. Barley and Pie serves up local brews made right in your backyard. Hungry? Dive into their sourdough Neapolitan pizza, made fresh in-house every day. Find your new go-to spot in Fleming Island at Barley and Pie Brewing Company.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showrooms at Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Baseball is back. Don't miss this year's Florida State baseball game, Tuesday, March 25th at VyStar Ballpark at 6 p.m. This can't-miss event sells out quickly, so buy your tickets today to get the best seats possible. It's Florida State on the diamond at VyStar Ballpark, Tuesday, March 25th. Get your tickets at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. We'll see you at the ballpark.
Hi, I'm Jeff Breyer, president of Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
And I'm Zach Breyer. When my dad started in business in 1990, I wasn't even born yet.
That's true. And after 35 years and nearly 20,000 satisfied customers, we literally have a showroom in every neighborhood.
So whether you need more outdoor living space with a glass or screen enclosure, or you're looking to transform your home with new flooring, we've got you covered.
Visit our websites, or better yet, do yourself a favor and stop by one of our showrooms on Phillips Highway to experience the Lifetime difference and receive 20% off your purchase now through March.
Lifetime Enclosures.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Spring and summer registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball. Plus, all new girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows. I-9 Sports with fields and gyms all over 3 counties. And the best thing is I-9 Sports offers sports year-round so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
Grinding out good grades can be just as challenging as winning games. That's why 1010XL salutes the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer. player.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I don't practice Santeria. I ain't got no crystal ball.
Hey, it's Dawn, Mia O'Brien, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Big Chief Tire Monday. It's time now for our Terminix Pest of the Day. Terminix handles the pest control and make sure that there are no termites at Everbank Stadium, VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, Daly's Place, VyStar Ballpark, and a whole lot more because they do such a good job. You can find them online at Terminix.com, Terminix.com. They've been out to our house, and they're coming again in the near future to make sure that we have no pests now that spring is underway. By the way, saw and heard tons of people sneezing all week at the players due to that pollen that's coming down. So yeah, good time to stock up on your antihistamines and all that fun stuff. But I digress. Today's pest of the day is one Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, for posting pictures of them on the beach in those interesting positions. I guess you'd call it airplane if you're talking about with like a kid. None of us really need to see this. I know she's a former cheerleader, but this is not something that I need to have on my timeline. So you can just, keep that to yourself between you and Bill and that giant age gap that is between them. But yeah, Terminix.com, they do such a great job. Mia, why you're trying to incite me today? Why is Rory McIlroy and his daughter Poppy going to make me mad and make you throw me in the water?
Oh, because I wanted to go back to Bill Belichick here. No,
well, you can. But honestly, I'd like to see it. And
I don't understand.
Yeah, I was just more so gonna, point to like, oh boy, here she goes dragging Rory through the mud more about the fact that he was going to get divorced and he wasn't getting divorced, and now here's the wife and we've got her on.
Oh, I honestly forgot about that.
Yeah, that was more so what I was alluding to about still bringing up negative.
So is Poppy is
his daughter. Who, by the way, I can't believe she's like 5 or 6 now. Like I remember when she was born. Like it's crazy. So that's the commission or the volunteer. If you have the Golf Channel on while you're listening to us or watching us, that's the chairman of the Volunteers family, not Rory McIlroy's family, but his daughter and his wife. Yes, were on 18 with him to celebrate this morning after he won his second Players Championship. So more so I was like, oh, Lauren's going to kill me if I start dragging more negative Rory PR through the mud.
If people want to say negative stuff, by all means, that's fine. The only time I dig in my heels when it comes to golf is Live versus PGA Tour, and I've said it a million times. Both my grandfathers served our country, my dad, my uncle, my brother. There's probably more that I'm forgetting about. So it really is holds a deep place of hatred in my heart for Live and the Saudi money and all that stuff. But I know that Saudi money is infiltrating lots of other sports too. Right. It's just that one was the one that I always go back to as like those guys had a choice to make, and a guy like Jon Rahm made plenty of money on the PGA Tour. He didn't, and then he said he didn't need the $400 million, and then he lied to everyone. And then
he also knew he wasn't going to get in trouble by the time he joined. Like at that point, they were working towards a resolution.
Yeah,
and so
I get.
We were talking so much about Jon Rahm for so long, and I haven't said his name.
Yeah, right. Well, he's fallen off the face of the earth ever since he took the money. Like maybe he knew his injury was like. I mean, maybe we got some X-Files music here, RJ. Like maybe Jon Rahm knew that his injury or series of injuries was worse than many people knew, and so he said,
"This money."
I mean, Jay Monahan says that we're working towards a resolution. So if I go over to Live, I am not going to face any repercussions, and I also know I'm not going to be healthy for a little while here. So let me get some money and run.
Yeah, I wonder when those Live guys come back to the tour, what it's going to look like. But you wanted to go back to Bill Belichick?
Oh, I wanted to go back to Bill Belichick because as we were driving to the Players Championship on Saturday, my dad wanted more intel, and so Kevin started Googling. So apparently, I didn't know if you guys knew the genesis of this relationship between...
I do not, actually.
Okay, between Bill and the girlfriend. So evidently...
He's her grandfather.
Yes, he's 49 years older than her. It's very weird. They met on a plane while she was still in college back in, I think it was 2021. He was still the coach of the Patriots. She went to Bridgewater State. She was a cheerleader, and he was on the same flight out of Boston with her, and they were seated next to each other. That's how they first met. Apparently... I don't know if this was at a roast or at some sort of event or just on the Wake Up or the Up and Adams show, but Rob Gronkowski has gone on the record and said that while he was playing for Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, Bill always used to use the phrase, "You guys are playing like a high school team. You're playing like why am I blanking on where Gillette Stadium is? in
Foxborough.
You guys are playing like Foxborough High School. You guys are Foxborough High School. You're an unprofessional outlet. And Gronk goes, well, no wonder Bill was so familiar with Foxborough High School and how good their football team is because he was hanging around there a little too often, looking for his next gal pal. So, very, very interesting.
It's so strange.
More information than I needed to know that I discovered on the 20-plus minute drive to the Players' Championship on Saturday. And,
so I would want to know how that conversation went down. Like, what does she and Bill have to talk about on a plane to make it to where they exchange numbers and date?
Right. Like, so Belichick and the Patriots won their first Super Bowl in, 01?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Was she born in 2001?
No, I don't think so.
Like, so
because what is she, 24?
Right.
Yeah, she's 24, which
like maybe born that year.
I actually had bookmarked this tweet, by the way, folks. We never got to it last week. There was a memo. Allegedly, it's real because Yahoo Sports and the Assembly in North Carolina are reporting it as real. Apparently, in an email dated Monday, December 16th, it was sent out that Bill apparently told
she was born April 22nd, 1994, by the way.
Okay, so she was so she was alive for the Super Bowl.
94.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2004.
It has to be okay.
Yeah.
And that was the year that the Patriots won their second Super Bowl.
Okay.
So it was around the same
But
time.
she missed the first two. It's fine.
Do you know who Tom Brady is?
Yeah, exactly. So apparently Bill he told all UNC staff that you have to copy his girlfriend Jordan Hudson on every email intended for him. And apparently this is a public records request that a couple of reporters got, and so she's controlling the narrative. And I know there was a video that surfaced over the weekend of people concerned about Bill looked unsteady walking, and she looked like
he's
she was
doing
holding him
yoga,
up.
and he looked pretty flexible.
I know.
honestly,
That's what I'm saying. And so she's definitely involved. She is definitely more involved.
Down this path, but we will get to some other NFL news on the other side. We do have some new contracts for some Bengals players and a Texans player as well. So we'll get to that. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010X on an 82.5 FM.
There are 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and Jags football.
To the 5, into the end zone, touchdown!
Jaguar football lives here. 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
You know, Mr. Chubby's Wings is giving away free beer again this year for the Madness Tournament.
Do they really give you a free pint of Miller Lite for each game you pick right?
Yes, all you got to do is fill out your bracket now at 1010XL.com. The overall winner gets tickets to Welcome to Rockville on Saturday. But for free beer, just download your bracket, print it out, and bring it into any Mr. Chubby's Wings location during the games. Every game you pick right, you get a free beer.
Go to 1010XL.com now. It's the Free Beer Chubby Madness Bracket Challenge. See Mr. Chubby's Wings Facebook for full contest details.
It's that time again. The Ready, Set, Go sales event is back and going on now at Arlington Toyota. Mia here. Now's the time to make the most of Ready, Set, Go savings because the Arlington Toyota lot is jam-packed with inventory. That's over 800 vehicles to choose from. What kind of savings are there? I'm glad you asked. Just announced, 0% on select new Toyota models has been extended. 0%. And that means now's the time to save on the new Toyota you really want. And come on, admit it. You know you'd look good in a new truck. So get ready, set, and go. Get yours today with financing as low as 1.99% on select new trucks. Arlington has over 80 Tacomas and over 75 Tundras available. Plus, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty and 60-day exchange with your new Toyota purchase. Don't wait. Let's go and shop the Ready, Set, Go sales event at Arlington Toyota. Now through March 31st. In person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295 or arlingtontoyota.com.
Hey, this is Darren with One Call Lawn and Pest Control. Since 2011, we've taken great pride in being Northeast Florida's premier lawn, termite, and pest control company. Our technicians receive thorough training year-round, focusing on exceptional customer service with meticulous attention to detail. One Call serves the greater Jacksonville area, including St. Augustine, Orange Park, and Fernandina. We're eager for the opportunity to earn your business and welcome you to the One Call family. Call or text us for a free quote, 413-8377.
Golf lovers, listen up. UF Health Jacksonville is bringing you an exciting day on the greens with their inaugural Golf Classic Friday, April 25th at Amelia River Club. It's your chance to tee up for a cause supporting Northeast Florida's premier academic health center while enjoying a top-notch golf experience. Sponsorships are available. Whether you're looking to showcase your brand or just play a great round of golf for a great cause, now's the time to get involved. Visit ufhealthjacks.org/ SoutheastOrthopedics.com/golf to learn more.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialist take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Big Chief Tire Monday on helmets and heels.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Who's new? Get to know who and why they're a good fit on the First Coast.
This man right here does whatever it takes.
Free agency profiles are covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. Roll through the offseason with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the 2024 Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards. And it's easy to see why. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the new Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
DUI, BUI, don't stress. Call me Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
So I've got good news for you Florida Gator fans out there. The rest of the AP Top 25 voting contingent has sided with me. Florida is ahead of Auburn in this week's AP poll, the final AP poll before the penultimate, or I guess this is the penultimate. The final one, of course, is after the NCAA National Championship game. Florida checks in at number 3. Again, I had them at 2 on my ballot behind Duke and Houston, who are 1 and 2 on the AP ballot. Again, I just had Duke in front of Florida. Auburn is at 4, Tennessee at 6, Alabama is at 7. The bad news for Gator fans: whenever I allude to basketball podcasts, basketball national pundits in the collegiate ranks that I trust, one of them is I'm a friend of the program of the Ringers One Shining podcast. And Tate Frazier and the boys, they are feeling the same way that I am when it comes to a potential round of 32 matchup for Todd Golden's team.
And the final 1 seed, we want to talk about Florida. Everyone is saying this is the hottest team in the country, deepest team in the country. Some people are even saying they're the best team in the country, but they are the 4th number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And they got a kind of tough draw out in San Francisco, but Todd Golden obviously coached at San Francisco, has ties to the Bay, so it will be familiar territory. Kyle, man, your thoughts on Florida and where they kind of drew this West region?
My spidey sense kind of went up whenever I was watching the broadcast, because does this feel like a trap to pick them? Like the recency of it feels scary. I just feel like, we've seen them. Definitely they figured some things out. They have a ton of experience, like we talked about. I was looking it up, like in terms of like pull-up shooters, which are really super valuable in the tournament. Just basic pick and roll stuff. If you have guys that can hit pull-up shots and you have rim rollers, they have both. But Walter Clayton, one of the best pull-up shooters in the country. We saw Elijah Martin has Final Four experience. Will Richard, on down the line. I love their roster top to bottom. But yeah, something about it feels scary to me. And I'm wondering, in honor of our buddy Connor Nevins, who is crossing his fingers hoping that I'll say this, I personally think that UConn's going to kick the shit out of Oklahoma in that first game. Will Florida... What will that UConn-Florida matchup look like? Because that's a talented UConn roster, but they are a prototypical can't get their shit together team in that 8-9 matchup, and I think they could pose Florida a tough one.
Taylor Dahl, have I not been saying it for the better part of the last week in our various group chats here at 1010XL? And so it warmed my heart to see that I wasn't the only one who saw that draw. Yeah. And certainly breathed a sigh of relief for the local Florida Gators when Gonzaga was placed on the other side of the bracket in another 8-9 game. But ultimately, they couldn't get away from one of those, as Kyle Mann puts it, teams that haven't been able to get their crap together.
Yeah.
But are still in the field and certainly have the pedigree to make it to the second weekend.
Was there any other draws to you? Because I was seeing obviously Twitter just goes crazy during Selection Sunday, so there was a lot of different takes going on, but I was seeing a lot of people post about Mizzou drawing Drake.
Yes.
Like, that was a big one for some reason that I kept seeing.
Yeah, it's surprising because I believe it's the last now 10 straight tournaments, we've seen an 11 prevail over the 6. And so that's one that I think a lot of people are pointing their finger at and saying, ooh, that's a trendy pick. Certainly with Drake 30 wins and Ben McCollum's first season in Des Moines as the head coach. I have believed in Mizzou, have had them higher than most AP voters throughout the course of the last 2 months, let alone the entire season. Florida fans know it well. Caleb Grill, when the grill is hot, look away. This is a Mizzou team that did not win a single game in the SEC last year. Much like the Florida Gators, they have that junkyard dog mentality of they have a chip on their shoulder and they are fighting for every loose ball, every offensive rebound that they possibly can get. They don't have the depth that Florida does, which is why I don't think they would make a larger run in the tournament. But at the same time, yes, this is a Mizzou team that people feel unfairly was given one of the trendier mid-major teams in the country. I do want to give you guys an update because we alluded to West Virginia being left out of the tournament field in favor of North Carolina, a team that has one Quadrant 1 win this entire season. The governor of West Virginia is holding a press conference as we speak, folks. This is Patrick Morrissey. I never knew the attorney, the governor. They have AG. I guess he used to be the attorney general. That's what it's in his Twitter handle. Governor Patrick Morrissey is addressing reporters right now. He opens his news conference with a podium that reads, "The National Corrupt Athletic Association," with regards to the NCAA. He calls West Virginia's snub, quote, "a miscarriage of justice and robbery at the highest level." I would not go that far as an elected official to take these steps, but I love
everyone's talking about
podium.
Cunningham, obviously, when you're like an AD and a chairman. That's what everyone kept pointing at.
Cunningham.
Yeah,
the AD at UNC was the chair of the selection
and they were like,
committee.
He wasn't in the room when that was decided. That was their story. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care how much posturing this West Virginia guy does. They're not.
You're
gonna
not
get
in.
the tournament.
Sorry.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people are in favor of the play-in games being expanded and having more of those to then get into. Instead of it being 68 teams, you could increase that, but still have a bunch of play-in games before you get to the round of 64. I think West Virginia fans wish that was the case, but I think a lot of college basketball fans are like, no, 68 teams is enough. Your resume is your tape.
We were talking about that. I can't remember who we had on, and we were talking about the expansion of the NCAA tournament. And they were saying that the majority of schools are in favor of
an
because then everybody
expansion,
gets more money.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
I think it was Matt
we were talking
Hayes.
about
I think it was
it
Matt
might have
Hayes
been.
who
We
was
were talking
saying
about the difference, like the comparison of how a lot of schools feel when it comes to the college football side and how when it goes to basketball. And he was like, there's a difference because some college football push back a little bit on how big it can actually get, while basketball is like, whatever, just make it do what you want to do.
So we all get a cut of the pie.
Yeah.
Which one team that is going to get a cut of both the proverbial pie and get the opportunity to dance is Xavier. I would like to shout out Rose Lavelle of U.S. Women's National Team Soccer Acclaim, despite the fact that she went to Wisconsin, who is in the NCAA tournament field and fell in the Big Ten championship yesterday. Rose and her family are from Cincinnati, and they were seated in the front row of the Big East tournament, and they all had their phones up on their foreheads as if it was a game of heads up, and it said, "Put Xavier in the field, you cowards," or something like that on the phone. Xavier does get in, or rather, no, Xavier got into the field because they will face Texas. However, Indiana did not, and you pointed that out to me, Taylor Dahl, because Indiana also rejected an opportunity to play in the NIT because Mike Woodson is already out. And that would have been just such great content if they had made the field because, well, to have a coach who already knows that he is being forced into retirement and exile of sorts, he still has to coach in the NCAA tournament. He does not. So Indiana is out. West Virginia is out. Boise State is out, which we have been screwed, folks, out of another wonderful goggle-wearing basketball player joining us in the wonderful month of March, and that part I'm sad about. But yeah, I mean, look, North Carolina, I mean, Lauren, you know it too. They put butts in the seats. They put eyeballs on the TV. I'm resigned to that fact, and it's unfortunate. But I do have good news on the NFL front, since many of you have been clamoring for some form of football talk here on this fine Big Chief Tire Monday, where we've reflected upon the Players' Championship and the NCAA tournament.
Georgia, by the way, takes on Gonzaga Thursday at 4:35
yes,
p.m.
we didn't forget about you, Mike White.
I mentioned that they did make it in the tournament, so that's a 9-8 matchup. And then, of course, Florida tips off 6:50 p.m. on Friday against Norfolk State.
And Kyle Mann thinks that Oklahoma is going to get smacked by UConn. Sorry, Georgia fans. I think you're going to get smacked by Gonzaga. That's just me, though. Arizona wide receiver, projected top pick, Tet McMillan, had his pro day this morning. Scouts in attendance clocked him at a 4.48 in the 40-yard dash. That is a massive development in the NFL draft front that I am sure the boys of XL Primetime will get to at some point, because I know I was told at the NFL Scouting Combine 3 weeks ago, the expectation was that Tet McMillan at best may be able to crack the high 4.5s, but the expectation was that he'd run the 4.6, 4.7s, and so a 4.48 time is a massive development for his draft stock.
Yeah, I'm surprised anyone thought 4.6, 4.7. That's really slow for a wide receiver. Speaking of wide receivers, the Bengals did overnight agree to terms with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, so it's a good thing to be Tet McMillan if you get picked high and then get your second contract. Yeah. As Jamar Chase will get a 4-year deal worth $161 million. T. Higgins gets a 4-year deal worth $115 million. I saw a stat where the LSU 2019 class has made over $665 million. Yeah, so that was a good time to be Ed Orgeron, the head coach there.
And I just saw a meme I told you off air where it was like every Bengals game next season, and the score was like 97-94 Bengals lose.
Which is interesting because Trey Hendrickson, they are still trying to work out a deal with him. They don't want to get rid of him, the pass rusher, of course.
Well, duh.
But the problem is Trey Hendrickson, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker, those are all guys that have yet to get paid as far as pass rushers and their second contracts go. And those guys that are at the top, a Myles Garrett, a Max Crosby, they're making over $35 million a year. So how are you going to pay your defensive stud now that you've paid both your all three, your quarterback and then both of these wide receivers as well? And then defensively for the Texans, they agreed to terms to a 3-year, $90 million extension, including $89 million guaranteed. May as well make that 100% guaranteed. So Derek Stingley Jr., now the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. I don't ever focus on this person's now the highest paid X because
it's
literally the next
changing
deal,
in 1 month.
The next deal that gets done will then become the highest paid. I think the key, though, is that the Texans have identified Derek Stingley as a guy that they want to have for the long haul, and I think he's really good for their secondary.
Yeah, he's definitely a player that you want to keep. And when we talk about, we've had the conversation here, and we'll continue to have that conversation when it comes to the Jags secondary and how I do still think that it needs to be something focused on, because the teams, and I mentioned this outside of the Ravens, which also the Ravens, the second half of the last season, their secondary got a lot better. Early on the season, they struggled, but the vast majority of teams that made it deep into the playoffs last year had
very good secondaries. And so I still do think it's important to have that. And I know you have to be able to balance and you have to have that pass rush up front. But one of the stats I saw with Derek Stingley, he allowed just 4.9 yards per target last season. That's the fewest among any outside corner from last season, minimum 30 targets. He also allowed only 42 completions across 90 targets and had 18 passes defended. And there's the names kind of alongside that are a guy like a Patrick Surtain, who one you talk about in that realm. But I just think that you have to, and it's hard, and the Bengals are a good conversation to have when it comes to how do you actually figure out how to manage this roster. And you do have to kind of pick and choose sometimes because you're not going to be able to pick everybody. But I think for the Texans, and I think they're also looking at, I think they're directly looking at maybe Jacksonville and saying they have a guy like Brian Thomas Jr. that we're going to have to cover for a long time.
Do we think Eddie O gets to see any of the $666 million in contracts from that 2019 LSU team?
No.
It makes me really
I mean,
sad.
maybe they'll get him a little gift basket.
I'm sad. I'm sad.
Let's say hello and happy St. Patrick's Day to the next guy.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Joe C., you are dressed in green. Good job. You understood the assignment.
TLD made sure I was wearing green, and it just so happened I had to go work at the PGA Tour studios, so I put on my green PGA Tour Live pullover. She had the pin Irish for a day, but I forgot. So.
That's okay. Does she lay out your clothes?
No. Just just only on holiday.
No, she just wanted to make sure it was a holiday.
She wanted to make sure you didn't get pinched.
Hey, nothing wrong with if somebody wants to.
I lay my clothes out. I don't like Kevin's
Honestly,
clothes out.
Joe may need that some days.
Like I'll try and make her green beer later. But
There you go.
There you go. Love that.
So Rory McIlroy, obviously one of the best St. Patrick's Days that he'll have, although it is his third time winning on St. Patrick's Day on the tour.
Yeah, it's honestly, it was one of those David versus Goliath things. It was Alex Cejka who started Sunday with the lead when Tiger came charging in 2013. Cejka had no chance whatsoever. And then you take a look at Paul Goydos against Sergio back in 2008, and the wind was whipping when they went back to 17 for a playoff. And Goydos, we even talked to him at Furyk and Friends about this, just how close he was to winning that tournament. And obviously Sergio hit a great shot. But in this case, Spahn had to sleep on it and then know he's playing 3 holes. It's one thing to go right back to 17, like Goydos did in 2008, but this one you had to sleep on, and
I know.
It's just tough. And you are going up against a world-class player with every shot in difficult conditions. You've only won once. He's won 27 times. So it was stacked up against him, to say the least.
Did you know that Rory's indulgence when he's trying to relax is the Devil Wears Prada?
Yeah, I did not.
I did not know that till he said it on the podium. That's what he did last night. Yeah, last night.
Yeah.
He ordered some room service and watched The Devil Wears Prada and went to bed early.
I was like, because there's a band, like a heavy metal band named The Devil Wears Prada. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Maybe that's what he was into.
Maybe that's what he was really watching. Joe, we spent a better part of the program discussing the perception of Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Is he this unquestioned hero of the sport? There continues to be those who question him, and certainly, or at the very least, like I use the Coach K comparison, and Taylor used the Dabo Sweeney comparison. Guys who are winners in their sport.
Those are good ones.
There's no disputing it, but at the same time, we do still like to poke a little fun here and there.
Yeah, haters hate.
Yeah.
That is what happens, and Rory became the mouthpiece, the voice, the protector or defender of the tour, whether you liked it or not. I'm glad that he did stand up for the tour because the tour, and it was so funny. John Rahm said, "I care about history," and then he walked off and collected $600 million or whatever, which was fine, perfectly within his right. But I do like the guys that say, you know what, I am playing for history. And when we were doing the coverage at the end, he said, Jack, Tiger, Scottie, and Rory
That's it.
are the only 4 with multiple major championships and multiple players' titles. That's history.
Yeah.
That's what that is. And so, anyway, I've always been a fan, so I was happy to see him get it done.
Yeah, some people have legacy in mind, and other people just have money in mind. And that, at the end of the day, I'm a bigger fan of those who play for not just legacy, but the actual competition too.
Yeah.
We all know that the other tour is not all that much competition.
Yeah. Well, the greatest line, I'm trying to think of exactly how it was set up, but at the WM Phoenix Open, they basically said there were more people surrounding 16 than were watching.
Right.
the other one. So that gives you an idea of just how big it is. And there were great crowds throughout the week. And, of course, today.
Today, that's what I was about to say. Even on a Monday. Yeah, Rory said nobody works in Jacksonville.
Gary Smith said the PGA Tour told him over 6,000 people.
That's honestly impressive.
So, yeah, really good stuff. All right,
I always worry when I'm on the road. Where do these people have jobs? Where do they go to work?
Remote working changed all that 5 years ago. Joe, what's coming up?
Yeah, we'll get into that. Matt just threw out the time for Tet McMillan at his pro day. So we will
I'm glad you're going to dive into that because I told the Heeligans that you would be. So, okay.
We'll definitely be talking about that. Mark Wise will join us as we are now looking at the bracket. So we'll be getting into all the possibilities. The Gators win was huge yesterday in a very, very good Tennessee team. There's so many good teams in the SEC. So we'll jump into all that coming up and then just kind of recount what happened earlier today and over the last handful of days.
All right, sounds good, Joe. Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
All right, that'll do it for us today. For Mia O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. XL Prime Time comes up next.